In the rugged heart of Montana's Silver Ridge Valley, a legend was about to be born when the most magnificent wild stallion ever seen is brought to Clearwater Ranch. Nobody could have predicted what would happen next. They called him Tempest, a coal-black stallion with eyes like wildfire, standing 17 hands high with a mane that flowed like midnight smoke. He was beautiful, he was dangerous, and he had never let a single human get close. This is not just another horse story. This is about the moment when a 12-year-old girl with a gift nobody believed in would do what the best riders in 3 states couldn't do, and change everything we thought we knew about the bond between humans and horses. Before we continue, tell us where you're watching from, and if this story moves you, hit that subscribe button, because trust me, you won't want to miss what happens next. The morning sun cast long shadows across Clearwater Ranch as Maya Rodriguez watched the horse trailer pull up the main drive. She'd been up since 4:30, unable to sleep, knowing what was coming. Today was the day Tempest arrived. Maya pressed her face against the barn window, her breath fogging the glass. She was small for 12, all knees and elbows, with dark hair pulled back in a messy braid. Her father said she had her mother's eyes, the mother she'd lost 3 years ago in a riding accident that had left the whole valley in mourning. "Stand back, everyone," ranch owner Jack Thornton called out, his voice carrying the weight of authority earned over 40 years with horses. "This one's different." The trailer rocked violently, hooves thundering against metal. The sound echoed across the ranch, making the other horses nervous in their stalls. Maya felt her heart racing, but not with fear, with something else, something she couldn't quite name. When they finally opened the trailer, Tempest exploded into the holding pen, a tornado of muscle and fury. His coat gleamed like polished obsidian in the morning light. His eyes rolled white, showing the wildness that lived in his soul. He was the most beautiful thing Maya had ever seen, been trying to break him for 6 weeks. Jack explained to the gathered crowd of ranch hands and curious neighbors. Bureau of Land Management rounded him up with his herd, brought him in for adoption. Thought we could gentle him, but he won't let anyone within 10 feet. Maya's father, Carlos, the ranch's head trainer, stood with his arms crossed, his face grim. "I've worked with difficult horses before, but this one, he's different. It's like he's guarding something, protecting himself from the whole world." Over the next 3 days, the best riders in Montana tried to work with Tempest. Each attempt ended the same way: the stallion would charge the moment anyone entered. His pen eyes, blazing nostrils flared, a warning that needed no words. Tom Bradley, a rodeo champion with 20 years of bronc riding experience, lasted 15 seconds in the pen before Tempest backed him against the fence with such focused aggression that Jack had to intervene. "He's not trainable," Tom said afterward, nursing a bruised shoulder. "That horse has too much wild left in him. Some animals aren't meant to be broken." But Maya watched every attempt from her spot by the barn. She noticed things the others didn't notice: the way Tempest's ears would flick backward before he charged, the way his breathing changed when people moved too fast, the way he always positioned himself with his left side toward the fence. There was a pattern to his fear, a reason behind his rage. On the 4th morning, Maya found her father sitting at the kitchen table before dawn, his head in his hands. "They're putting him down today," Carlos said quietly, voice thick with emotion. Jack made the call. "Bureau says if a horse can't be trained after this long, he's a liability. They're coming this afternoon." "No." Maya's voice cracked. "Please, Papa. There has to be another way." Mija Carlos looked at his daughter with tired eyes. Some horses can't be saved. Sometimes the wild is all they know. But Maya couldn't accept that. All morning, she worked her regular chores, mucking stalls, feeding the gentle horses. Her mind racing, she thought about her mother, who'd always told her that animals spoke a language of the heart. "Not the head, listen with something deeper than your ears," Mama had said. "Trust what you feel, not just what you see." At noon, the veterinarian's truck arrived. Maya knew what that meant. She had maybe 2 hours left to do something, anything. When her father went inside for lunch, Maya made her decision. Her hands were shaking as she approached Tempest's pen. The stallion stood at the far corner, his magnificent head high, his eyes watching her with that mix of fear and defiance that had defeated everyone else. "I know you're scared," Maya whispered, standing at the fence, not approaching, just being present. "I know you don't trust us. I know something hurt you." Tempest's ears flicked toward her voice, but he didn't charge. He stood still, his whole body tense like a loaded spring. "My mama died on a horse," Maya continued, her voice soft and steady. Everyone said I should be afraid, said I should never ride again, but I'm not afraid of horses. I'm only afraid of never understanding them. The way she did something changed in Tempest's eyes. The wildness was still there, but underneath it, Maya saw something else. Pain, loss, a grief that mirrored her own. She started singing, then a Spanish lullaby her mother used to hum while working with nervous horses. The melody floated across the pen soft as morning mist. No te preocupes, mi amor, no estás solo aquí. Don't worry, my love, you're not alone here. Tempest took a step forward, then stopped, his nostrils flaring as he tested the air. Maya kept singing, not moving, not reaching, just offering her presence, her voice, her understanding. The stallion's breathing began to slow. His ears were fully forward now, focused entirely on her. Maya slowly sat down in the dirt outside the fence, making herself small, non-threatening, still. Singing 15 minutes passed, then 30. The ranch had gone quiet. Even the other horses seemed to be watching. Maya began to speak again, her voice barely above a whisper. You lost your herd, didn't you? That's what you're protecting. That's why you fight. You think if you let anyone close, you'll lose them too. Tempest lowered his head just slightly. I lost someone too. Maya's eyes filled with tears. My mama, she understood horses like nobody else. She would have understood you. The stallion took another step closer, then another. He was 10 feet away now, close enough that Maya could see the individual hairs of his mane, the depth of intelligence in his dark eyes. I'm not going to hurt you, Maya whispered. I'm not going to force you. I just want you to know that I see you. I see that you're not mean or vicious. You're just scared and alone. Tempest's head lowered further, his eyes locked with Maya's. In that moment, something passed between them, something ancient and profound, a recognition that transcended species, a meeting of two souls who understood loss. Slowly, Maya stood up. She moved like water, like wind, not threatening, just flowing. She climbed the fence rail and sat there level with the stallion's eyes. Everyone said, "You can't be saved," Maya said softly, "but I don't think you need saving. I think you just need someone who speaks your language." She began to hum again, that same lullaby, and then she did something no one had tried. She closed her eyes, removing the threat of human staring, showing trust, showing vulnerability. The sound of hoofbeats and dirt made her heart pound, but she kept her eyes closed, kept humming. She felt hot breath on her face, smelled hay and wild grass and something else, something that was purely Tempest. When she opened her eyes, the stallion stood directly in front of her, his massive head inches from her face. His eyes were soft now. The wildness transformed into something deeper, curiosity, connection. Slowly, carefully, Maya raised her hand, not to grab, not to force, just offering. Tempest stretched his neck forward. His nose touched her palm. Velvet, soft, warm, alive. The connection was electric. Maya felt tears streaming down her face. I know, Maya whispered. I know. You're afraid. I know you think trusting means losing. But look, we're both still here. We're both still standing. What the hell is going on? Carlos's voice shattered the moment he'd emerged from the ranch house to see his daughter in the pen with the killer horse. But Maya didn't move, and neither did Tempest. Papa, Maya said calmly, still not breaking eye contact with the horse. It's okay, he's not going to hurt me. Get out of there now. Carlos started toward the pen, but Jack Thornton grabbed his arm. Wait, Jack breathed. Look at him. Carlos, really look. Tempest hadn't moved, hadn't charged. His focus remained entirely on Maya, his ears forward, his body relaxed in a way no one had seen since his arrival. Maya turned back to the stallion. You're not alone anymore, she whispered. And neither am I. She began to move slowly, running her hand along Tempest's neck, feeling the power contained in his muscles, the trembling that spoke of fear being overcome by trust. The ranch hands had gathered now, words spreading quickly. Everyone stood in stunned silence, watching the impossible unfold over the next hour. Maya worked with Tempest, using nothing but her voice, her touch, and an empathy that seemed to transcend normal human-animal interaction. She never forced, never demanded. She asked, and Tempest answered. By the time the sun began to set, Maya was sitting on the ground inside the pen, and Tempest was lying beside her, his great head resting near her lap, a position of complete trust that no wild horse should have shown. Jack Thornton wiped his eyes openly. I've been working with horses for 40 years. I've never seen anything like this. Carlos stood with his arm around his daughter, his face a mixture of pride, fear, and wonder. Your mother, Maya, he said softly, his voice breaking. She would have been so proud. The veterinarian who'd come to put Tempest down stood with his equipment unused, his scheduled appointment canceled in the face of a miracle. Over the following weeks, Maya continued working with Tempest, their bond deepening with each passing day. She learned his language, and he learned hers. It wasn't about dominance or submission. It was about partnership, mutual respect. Two beings who'd found in each other what they'd lost the first time Maya rode Tempest. It wasn't in a training pen with experts watching. It was on an early morning when the valley was still wrapped in mist. She simply climbed on his back, bareback bridleless, and Tempest understood they moved across the valley floor like poetry, like wind, like everything wild and free that had ever existed. And suddenly Maya understood why her mother had loved this. More than anything else, the absolute freedom of connection with another soul word, spread fast about the girl who'd whispered magic to the wild horse trainers, came from across the country asking for her secret. But Maya always gave the same answer. There is no magic trick. There's just listening. Really listening. Not with your ears or your head, but with your heart. Tempest never became a fully domesticated horse, and Maya never wanted him to be, but he became her partner, her friend, her connection to a mother she'd lost, and a part of herself she'd found as Maya and Tempest moved across the arena in perfect harmony. Carlos Rodriguez watched his hand over his heart. His late wife's spirit felt so close in that moment. She has the gift, Carlos, a friend said beside him. Carlos shook his head. No, she has something better. She has her mother's heart. The sun set over Silver Ridge Valley, painting the Montana sky in shades of copper and gold. Maya sat on the fence beside Tempest's pen. The stallion stood close, his head over her shoulder in a gesture of protection and affection. You taught me something, Maya whispered to him. Being broken isn't what makes us whole. Sometimes we have to stay a little wild to really be free. Tempest nickered softly in agreement, and in a small valley in Montana, where the mountains touch the sky, a girl and a horse proved that the most powerful language in the world isn't spoken with words at all. It's spoken with the heart up. Next, 2 more incredible stories are waiting for you right on your screen. If you enjoyed this one, you won't want to miss these. Just click to watch and don't forget to subscribe. It would mean a lot.